Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to Naples United Church of Christ. My name is Mark Williams, and I serve as the senior minister here at Naples UCC. And on behalf of the congregation here at the church, welcome all. Naples UCC has been an open and affirming church since 2013. And this worship service is an important expression of those values. We have been involved with this convocation since it started in 2008, and we are thrilled that the Interfaith Alliance of Southwest Florida has revived this service today. Many thanks to Reverend Dr. Sharon Harris Ewing and her team at the Interfaith Alliance for all of their work and effort in helping to put together the logistics of this afternoon's service. What a blessing it will be to all of us. It's our privilege to be hosting today, and we look forward to hosting this event for many years to come, and we're hoping that it will be annual.
And I'm Reverend Angela Wells-Bean. I'm the Minister for Congregational Care here at Naples United Church of Christ, and it is our privilege to have you. We are so thrilled that you've joined us this afternoon, those of you who are in person and those who are joining us remotely, because we are live streaming today's service. Another expression of our being open and affirming is our commitment to participating in the Naples Pride Fest every year. So we thought this was an important opportunity to remind folks that Pride Fest is on June 8th in Cambier Park. We hope all of you who are in the area will be able to attend that wonderful festival, and many thanks to the Naples Pride Center for organizing that every year. It is a wonderful event on behalf of our community. Now, in the spirit of unity, I invite us to prepare our hearts and minds to celebrate the divinity of all embodied people.
Good afternoon. My name is Tony Fisher. I serve the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. As you'll see the name, Vincent Keys, president of the NAACP, on your program this afternoon. Unfortunately, Vincent is under the weather, and I'm very grateful for Rabbi Amos Chorny of Temple Bet Tikva, who will lead us in the opening responsive reading. Rabbi.
Good afternoon. If you have a copy of the program, please, let's read it responsively. May the door of this sacred space be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May the door of this sacred space be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May the door of this sacred space be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
I'm Rabbi Adam Miller from Temple Shalom, and we offer this invocation at the start of our gathering together at a time when our world feels divided along so many lines. O Holy One, we come together today, grateful for one another and for your divine presence among us. You have created us, B'Tselem Elohim, all in the divine image. And so we ask you, O God, to open our ears that each one of us might hear what we need to hear on this day. We call upon you to open our eyes to see your vision of a beloved community beyond our imagining. We pray that through the words and music and the blessings that we will share on this day, we might experience the depth of your love for us and learn to love one another in new ways. And let us say, Amen.
eternally into chords of his love. Imagine how God can dance, moving gracefully up to our hearts, to invite us to be intimate and share in his joy. Then imagine how God must feel if we move back away from him to design our own destiny, shaping lives of desiring and fear. Then imagine God's happiness when a wanderer cries out to him for the strength that only he can give, for the strength he grants to truly live. And when the choice is made to look to him and finally draw near.
Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to bring you greetings on behalf of the Interfaith Alliance of Southwest Florida. We are so glad that you are here, every one of you. As noted in the bulletin, the Interfaith Convocation was originally sponsored by PFLAG and ran for 10 years, from 2008 to 2017. In this time when there is a backlash against the LGBTQ community and far too many attempts to justify discrimination, it seemed to the Interfaith Alliance that it was more important than ever for us to gather as people of diverse faiths, to speak with one voice, and to stand together with and for our LGBTQ siblings. So we are thrilled to revive this tradition as an annual event. We're excited to partner with our co-sponsors who are listed in the bulletin. This is truly an interfaith community-wide celebration. I want to give special thanks to the participants who've come from many different communities, Fort Myers and Estero and places in Naples. And a special thanks to our 4 speakers who will share their personal stories with us. And I know that that will be touching to all of our hearts. The Interfaith Alliance of Southwest Florida is a local affiliate of the national organization, and it is my privilege to recognize that one of the National Interfaith Alliance board members who lives here in Naples is with us this afternoon, Mr. Iqbal Mamdani. Would you stand up, Iqbal? You don't know, but I know how much Iqbal's support has meant to getting this local affiliate off the ground, and we appreciate it. We hope that you will learn more about us and join our work. But today is about the theme, Beloved, let us love one another. You, me, we, all of us are created and loved by God. Because we are already loved, we are invited, we are called, I dare say we are compelled to love one another. Hear then these words from the Christian tradition.
I'm Reverend Craig Cranston with St. John the Apostle MCC in Fort Myers. This is a reading from the excerpt of the Epistle of 1 John. Beloved, let us love one another because love is from God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love. Beloved, since God loved us so much, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God abides in us, and God's love is perfected in us. Since we have known and believed the love that God has for us, God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them. We love because God first loved us. Those who say, I love God, and hate a brother or sister are liars. For those who do not love a brother or sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. The commandment we have from him is this: those who love God must first love their brothers and sisters also.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Oh, and you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. And you say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. Oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, and you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. And you say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe, oh, I believe, yes, I believe what you say of me. I believe.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for that, Sam. That was a wonderful reminder to me as a teacher that many of our LGBTQ youth right now are crying out for help. They don't have the support that they need, and they are being attacked across our state and across our country. Our families are being torn apart and destroyed, and they just need somebody in their corner to advocate for them and say those words to them that you are loved. My name is Daniel Shaw. I am a teacher here in Collier County at Gulf Coast High School. I am also a part of GLSEN-Collier County, a local chapter of a national organization advocating for LGBTQ youth in our K-12 schools. I'm also a parent of two beautiful little boys who are students in Collier County, but I think today I want to share with you a little bit more about my personal past. Given the environment that we're in right now, it has been a very long time since I have been part of an organized religious service of this nature. I grew up in a very, very conservative Baptist home. My father was a pastor for many years. We were missionaries in Spain for a couple of years. And there were many things that I was indoctrinated with in my upbringing, which was a bit ironic considering I'm accused on a regular basis of indoctrinating our youth today and our children when I'm simply trying to provide a loving and safe space where they can all exist to be who they are 100%. So in that upbringing, I was often told, you are a child, you are foolish, we are adults, we are wise, you listen to us, you keep your mouth shut, you don't challenge power, you don't challenge authority, you don't know any better. And so growing up with that, I never kept my mouth shut still, but even though I was told to. For those of you who know me, I'm sure that's not surprising. And I always challenged the authority, and I was labeled a rebel in a bad way because of it. And so growing up, I've always been extremely passionate about what I believe in, so much to the point that I believed wholeheartedly in this indoctrinating faith that I had been a part of that had sheltered me from other people that thought differently, believed differently, talked differently, and never realized that I could perhaps openly be gay and it would be okay. And I remember as a high school student kind of wishing somebody would figure it out so they could send me to Christian counseling and, help counsel the gay away from me. And I look back at that and I'm so glad that nobody ever did figure it out. I don't know how. But that whole experience led me to be the passionate advocate and adult that I am. I've always been passionate for students. I've taught high school for 18 years. And for me to now be able to grow up, or still growing up, but growing up, able to take a leadership role and say, you know what, kids, you can tell me your stories and they can change my life, but as long as I tell your stories, other people's lives can't be changed the way that mine was. But if I hand them the mic and say, here, tell your story, share your words with the world and change everybody else's life like you've changed mine, so that now I realize that all of that passion, all of that fire that's inside me, I can use it in a way that frees and liberates these students to fully embrace who they are, not just in a way where the world accepts them, but where they boldly and proudly live out their authentic selves. And I think that's a huge part of what we're trying to do here in Southwest Florida, across the state of Florida, and across our country, is bring back that freedom, that independence that students and families deserve to have so that they can just thrive, whether they're LGBTQ or not, just feeling free to be 100% who they are. And so I thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about my story, and I hope that you will continue to support our queer youth and these different organizations and religious institutions that are here today, and we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name's Lori Lyons, and I am a Zen Buddhist teacher from Zen and the Arts. And just thank you to Daniel for his story and for all his work. So the late Bell Hooks wrote this really beautiful book called All About Love. And in the first chapter of this book, she really struggles to define this word love. But ultimately, what she settles on is this: Love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. The key word here for me being to extend oneself. And she also says, love is as love does. In other words, love isn't a noun or some abstract feeling. Love is action, what you do with that feeling. So you're hearing a lot of really inspiring words and some really amazing music this afternoon, but what I want to offer you here is what Buddhism has to offer, which is this practice of kind of moving or using words to move beyond words, this direct experience that moves from the space of thinking about love and talking about love to being love and embodying that love in all of your moments. So what I'll ask you to do here is just allow your body to be still and quiet. You can close your eyes if you want to. So grounding into a still body and connecting to your breath. And you might imagine that you're breathing in through the soles of your feet and up into right in the middle of your chest, your heart space. In through the soles of the feet, up into the middle of the chest. And just feeling that fluid and spontaneous breath. And can you bring into your mind here the face of love? So this could be an image of a small child, a divine being, a pet, a person or animal that you feel an uncomplicated relationship. Love flows fluidly between you and this being. And riding the breath, breathe in what this being has to offer you. And placing this image to one side, and on the other side, can you evoke an image of something different? And this could be an image of a person that challenges you, a person that's harmed you in some way, or maybe just somebody that loves differently than you. And let's not call this the face of hate, let's call this the face of pain. And holding both of these images equally and lightly, can you begin to ride the breath here? So breathe in from the face of love through your body and breathe out to the person that needs it the most. And there's plenty to go around here. So this is a boundless source of love. And you're the conduit. Breathe in from the face of love. And breathe out that same boundless love to the very person that needs it the most. Connecting to your body, feel your feet on the ground. And when you feel ready, you can lift the gaze. And I'll invite you here to use moments during this service when people are coming and going from the podium. That's enough time to take one breath and to practice it. All it takes is one breath to begin to really embody this feeling. So I'll leave you with this. May we come to love everything with immeasurable depth, and may we know that all things completely love us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jack, and I'm a student in Collier County Public Schools at Gulf Coast High School. I'm part of the SHINE team, which is a group of LGBTQ+ students here in Collier County that's aiming to make the community more equitable and a safer place for all. Before I begin and share what I have to say today, I would like to thank all of you for coming here and listening. You know, I understand that sometimes it can be uncomfortable and scary to hear stories that are true, to hear the lived experiences of students, but I think it's important, and it's an important step to take in order to make this community more equitable and safer for all. I think we've all heard about legislation over the past years, the so-called Don't Say Gay bill, and I think we've all heard how it affects the lives of students here in Collier County. But seldom do we hear from the students themselves. Seldom do we hear their lived experiences. And so I'm here today to share how not only has legislation had a big impact, but the cultural and social landscape here in our community and our schools has deeply impacted students. And having the opportunity to work with the Shine team and LGBTQ plus students, I have gotten the opportunity to hear the stories of students and their lived experiences. For example, one student I've had the pleasure of working with and getting to know is named Rebecca, and they identify as a member of the LGBTQ plus community and have been deeply affected by the social landscape in our community. In school, Rebecca has felt the effects of a society unwilling to accept those different from them. Just walking between classes, Rebecca has been filmed, harassed, and followed simply because of the fact that they are an LGBTQ plus student. Students have attempted to take pictures of Rebecca without their consent and post them. Simply walking home from school, Rebecca has been followed and harassed by students who were yelling derogatory slurs at both Rebecca and their partner. The night that Rebecca and their partner were followed was a night that Rebecca was scared for their life. And as you can imagine, this takes a personal toll on people. Students are being made to feel that they are less than and inferior simply because of the fact that they are different. And on a personal note, I have firsthand witnessed the unwelcoming and discriminatory social landscape that exists here within Southwest Florida in the public school system. Every day I hear students referring to things they dislike as gay. I hear students mocking gay students, the way they talk, the way they walk or behave. I've heard students refer to Pride Month, a month meant to celebrate the history of LGBTQ plus individuals, as Fag Month. And this has a profound effect on the mental health of students. For students who identify as an LGBTQ plus member, it's made coming out so much more challenging. So many are afraid that they'll lose friends because of the way they identify. And the data speaks for itself. According to the National Institute of Health, 52% of LGBTQ plus students have considered suicide. And to be clear, LGBTQ plus students are not at a higher risk of suicide because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. They are at risk because of how society has mistreated and stigmatized them. Previous generations have dealt with numerous injustices. Not too long ago, African Americans were fighting for basic rights and equality, fighting for the right for social, economic, and political equality. And in modern times, we need to fight the battle for LGBTQ plus rights and change the culture that exists within our schools. The bottom line is this: LGBTQ plus rights are no different than that of the rights of any other minority groups. We have a long way to go when it comes to making society more inclusive. However, by listening to the voices of students and LGBTQ plus community members, we can spread awareness, support them, and make a difference, gradually working towards a more inclusive society. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sid Freund. I'm a member of the Jewish community. I'm very proud that my rabbi, Rabbi Chorny, my spiritual leader, is here today and joining us. I'm also a proud member of the Interfaith Alliance. On August 1st, 2009, a tragic shooting resulted in the deaths of 2 people and injuries to at least 15 others at the Tel Aviv branch of the Israeli LGBT Association. A 26-year-old man and a 17-year-old girl were killed. A prayer vigil in Chicago following the shooting offered the opportunity to voice a message of tolerance. It was attended by an impressively diverse gathering from across the spectrum of Chicago's religious and political community. At that vigil, a prayer was shared that had recently been written by Rabbi Dov Linzer, who was the dean of an Orthodox rabbinical school. Rabbi Linzer's inspiring words helped to remind us that traditional religion and intolerance need not go hand in hand. I'd like to share an excerpt from his prayer that I have liberally adapted for this occasion. Master of the universe, give us the courage to stand up to and reject all forms of hateful speech and violence. Give us the strength of spirit to refuse to tolerate the rejection of any human being, each of whom is created, B'Tselem Elohim, in your divine image. Help us to internalize in our hearts and to manifest in our actions the mandate of the verse we'll be reading in the Haggadah on Passover. The story of our freedom from bondage in Egypt. V'ahavtam et hager ki garim hayitem be'eretz Mitzrayim. Thou shalt love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. That it is our responsibility to care for and to love and to protect all the members of our society, and in particular those who are most vulnerable and most likely to feel estranged and rejected. Help us to value every member of our society for who they are, to care for them, to support them, and to recognize that they are an equal part of our community and that we all are created in the divine image. And let us say amen.
Hello, my name is Jason Street, very easy last name, and I am a student at FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast University, and I am quite nervous because I've never given a speech in front of people before. And I ramble a lot, so be a little patient with me. So a little background. So for my speech, I'm just going to give a little background about my life, talk about how it's been growing up gay in South Florida and Southwest Florida, and talk about some ways that I believe that the community and society at large can kind of improve a little bit to help LGBTQ plus youth. So growing up gay in both South Florida and Southwest Florida has been an interesting experience. I've been gay for as long as I can remember. It's something I've felt ever since I was a kid. While it is believed children tend to not be sure of their sexualities until they're a few years older, preteen, the common consensus is that there are many signs throughout childhood that indicate it. Metaphorical breadcrumbs outsiders pick up on, and questioning whispers at the back of our minds. I'm no different, and despite assuming I was straight for my first 15 years on Earth, when I look back at my life, it was pretty obvious that I was gay. As a young boy, I mostly hung out with girls, making friends with them easily, while I struggled to connect with and relate to other boys. I spent many evenings in my room dancing and singing to my favorite songs, jamming out to Hilary Duff, Avril Lavigne, Pink, Hannah Montana, and yes, Britney Spears. My love for Britney was, and still is, well known and unmatched. I knew all the words to her songs, could do all her dance moves from memory, poorly, but that's beside the point, and even proudly had a Britney Spears Barbie doll. Most notably, I found myself becoming more and more drawn to the male characters in the cartoons I would watch, including Danny Phantom, who I was absolutely obsessed with. Jake Long and Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho, who I called cool and awesome to my friend just because he was shirtless on my backpack. While these don't necessarily mean a person is gay, it certainly meant that for me. The signs were all there, loud and proud. I've been privileged in my experience because coming out for me was relatively easy in Vero Beach. The hard part was the anticipation leading up to it. I believe we all think of worst case scenarios, justifiably so, when preparing to come out to loved ones. There is always that fear of dismissal or worse, rejection. It's a fear that lingers even now in 2024 when having to explain our sexuality and gender identity to curious strangers and loved ones alike. Once I worked through that fear and came out at 15, I came out hard. Dramatic social media announcements and all. I was received with unanimous support, luckily, the consensus being an amusing, "Oh, don't worry, we know." From then on, I continued to have a mostly positive experience as a newly out gay boy. Despite my first relationship being traumatizing and bad for both of us, I found myself blessed with accepting family and friends, old and new, throughout the rest of high school and into my first college, where I initially met my now fiance. These blessings followed me as I transferred to Florida Gulf Coast University and moved to Southwest Florida during the school year, making new lifelong friendships and becoming more and more secure in my gayness. I have consistently felt loved by my peers and loved ones for the most part. I felt held by those closest to me. I have been greatly privileged in that regard, and I'm thankful for it. While being gay in Florida has been an overwhelmingly positive experience for me, I believe there is still much room for improvement. While conditions for gay people have generally improved across America for the most part, there are still ever-present issues that plague even modern gay youth, tenacious opponents to our well-being and safety. The problems we face in Vero Beach and Naples are many of the same problems others face in small towns and big cities alike across America and across various parts of the world. I have experienced and bore witness to a few of these issues throughout my life. It is rather dry in Vero Beach in regard to gay-oriented activities and nightlife, and I've been disappointed to find that it was only slightly better around the FGCU area. Though it may seem like a rather innocuous issue, it makes it difficult to forge friendships with other LGBTQ+ people outside of school. The lack of that sense of community can become isolating quickly. I've also witnessed and heard of friends being verbally assaulted by strangers, classmates, and frat boys alike, sneering taunts and hateful slurs thrown out without provocation. A shocking and disappointing scene to still see in the 2020s, is it not? And you would think that you would find more solace in your own community, but sometimes that's not really the case, unfortunately. Pressing issue we face that I feel that goes unaddressed is the way we treat each other. There is rampant homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, and racism in the gay community. You'd be surprised, but it's true. All too often, we tend to be each other's worst enemies. It has become commonplace for members of the LGBTQ+ community to treat each other poorly, exploiting each other's flaws and tearing into each other every chance they get. You can see it everywhere, in movies, on TV, in our inner circles. It's become a cliche. Vicious, mean girl behavior justified by us as reading and being shady. I believe there is a distinct difference between light shade and actual meanness, and that line is blurred all too often. I've seen it in my inner circles, and unfortunately, it's behavior I myself have taken part in my youth. I, for one, would like that to change. It has gotten to the point where meanness and cattiness have been referred to by straight people and homophobes as gay culture. It's a somber thought, and I feel like it's about time that we reject this. I feel like it's about time that we as a community start asking why. The same dehumanizing treatment many of us, older and younger generations alike, faced under the wrathful finger of homophobes, why are we now giving that same treatment to each other? I think it's about time that we start treating each other with a little more kindness. To close, I would like to reference two quotes. The first one comes from the late Mr. Rogers, which reads, "Imagine what our real neighborhoods would look like if each of us offered, as a matter of course, just one kind word to another person." The next quote comes from the Bible in Ephesians 4:32, which reads, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." Two great quotes about the power of kindness and loving one another. I love my LGBTQ+ community. It has raised me and supported me throughout my life. Today, I believe that showing a little more kindness to one another can make it return to being the welcoming community I know it can be for future generations to come. Beloved, let us love one another. Thank you.
Jason, you knocked it out of the park for your first speech. Very good job. Sisters, brothers, and friends, assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. My name is Anisa Karim, and I am a member of the Shia Ismaili Muslim community. I'm also a member of the LGBTQ community, and my religion compels me to be here today. When Muslims begin an important task, they often recite the opening prayer of the Holy Quran. So as I begin, I say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. I would like to thank and congratulate the Interfaith Alliance of Southwest Florida, PFLAG, GLSEN, Naples Pride, and the Naples United Church of Christ for providing this opportunity. The theme of this service is Beloved, let us love one another. This theme emphasizes that we are all loved by God, Allah, with no exceptions, right? And as people who are loved, we are called to love one another, right? It is a responsibility. And as I was preparing my remarks for this afternoon, I started to wonder how this theme translates into actions in our society today. I'm immediately thought of several texts in the Islamic tradition and a famous quote, which reads, "Justice is what love looks like in public." I'm going to say that again. Justice is what love looks like in public. So if you accept the premise of this quote, then as we strive to answer the call to love one another, we must do that through ensuring justice for one another. The Quran says, "Be upright for God and the bearers of witness with justice." Allah loves justice and those who strive to practice it, especially toward people who are different from them. As a Muslim, I am called upon to actively uphold and protect values such as justice and equality. For me personally, that means when I become aware of social inequalities and systemic injustice such as racial injustice, sexism, and denial of LGBTQ rights, I must actively work and fight to remove those inequalities. To me, that means understanding the true and entirety of the history that brought us to this point, not erasing that history. So when I reflect on Prophet Muhammad's teaching that none of you will believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself, it means that regardless of our differences, regardless of what makes us diverse, equity and inclusion are critical to creating a society that shows grace and love to us all. In fact, the Quran embraces diversity. Allah says that mankind is not only destined to exist as diverse peoples, but that we as humans should welcome this and actively try to understand people who are different from ourselves. Striving to love one another means we must work to cultivate compassion, empathy, and understanding towards all members of society. And I'll add here that regardless of your faith, or if you believe at all, working for justice for everyone is how we show love for our community. My friends, let us strive to build bridges. Let us strive to extend hands of friendship, and let us foster a world where diversity is celebrated and cherished. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Meg Tidcombe. I'm a Catholic, I'm a wife, and I'm a mother to 4 children. My pronouns are she, her. And first off, I would absolutely love to thank the Interfaith Alliance of Southwest Florida and Naples United Church of Christ for putting this event back together. I've only been in Naples 4 years, so this is my first invocation. Thank you very much. Obviously, many other organizations, supporters, and volunteers to name, but thank you all for coordinating this wonderful celebration. And thank you all for joining us. We're so glad that you're here. As a parent, we're often told that our love for our children knows no bounds. We're taught to embrace their uniqueness, celebrate their milestones, and support them through every triumph and tribulation. But what happens when your child's journey takes an unexpected turn? What happens when the child we've known since birth reveals a truth that challenges our understanding of who they are? This is the reality for many parents of transgender children. Being the parent of a transgender child is a journey marked by courage, love, and unwavering support. It's a journey that often begins with confusion and uncertainty as we grapple with our own preconceptions, fears, and often faith. We may question ourselves, wondering if we missed some signs or if we could have done something different. But amidst all the uncertainty, there is one constant: our love for our child. As our child began to explore their gender identity, we stood by their side, offering a listening ear, a shoulder to lean on, or more often cry on, and a heart full of unconditional love. We educated ourselves, sought out resources and support networks to better understand our child experience. And as our child began to explore their gender identity, we stood by their side, offering everything they needed. And still, 5 years later, my husband and I are still advocating for their rights and fighting tirelessly to ensure they have access to the same opportunities and respect of their peers. But perhaps the most profound aspect of being a parent to a transgender child is witnessing their courage and resilience. Despite the challenges they face, from discrimination to misunderstanding, they continue to embrace their true selves with unwavering determination. They teach us about authenticity, the importance of living our truth, even in the face of adversity. Being the parent of a transgender child is not without its struggles. We often encounter obstacles or face judgment from others within our communities, schools, and places of worship. And we worry daily, hourly, minutely for our child's safety and well-being. But through it all, we are united by a bond that transcends gender, a bond forged in love and acceptance. So to all the family, friends, clergy, teachers, and community members out there navigating this journey alongside members of the LGBTQ+ community, I say this: you are not alone. Your love, your support, and your advocacy matters more than you will ever know. Together, let us stand proudly beside them, affirming their identities, championing their rights, and building a world where everyone can thrive, regardless of who they are or who they love. Thank you.
What a wonderful afternoon. I'm really, overcome, I'll say. When a community gathers for worship, it's customary in some faith traditions to receive an offering. This offering or contribution may support the mission of the community or may be designated to an outside group whose work is consistent with its mission. All donations made to today's offering will be given to Equality Florida. I hope that people in this room are familiar with Equality Florida, and if they are not, that they will look it up when they go home. They have a wonderful website with so much important information. Equality Florida is Florida's civil rights organization that is dedicated to securing full equality for Florida's LGBTQ+ community. During the 2024 legislative session, there were 22 anti-LGBTQ+ bills. Equality Florida's team was at the Capitol every single day of session. They advocated for legislation to restore rights and freedoms, and they fought against the dangerous bills that had been proposed. Thanks to the many people that were involved and the collective opposition, 21 of the 22 anti-LGBTQ bills were stopped or neutralized. I had a very small part, but as one of the hundreds of volunteers that were up in Tallahassee at the Capitol, I have the utmost respect and appreciation for the work that Equality Florida does on behalf of the LGBTQ+ community. And to volunteer for Equality of Florida is truly to be inspired. At the local level, Equality Florida's Safe and Healthy Schools team has been vital in making sure that our schools are safe for all. They support our Collier community when school district actions negatively impact LGBTQ+ students, staff, and families. I can say that I personally worked with them, and they have been wonderful in helping us navigate some very challenging issues that we've experienced in Collier County. Equality Florida's Parenting with Pride program empowers thousands of LGBTQ+ families to ensure that every child feels safe, affirmed, and loved. For over 25 years, Equality of Florida has worked hard to make our state a more inclusive and welcoming place for everyone, where no one suffers from bullying, harassment, or discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. Together, we can build a more equitable and inclusive future for all of us and for our children. And I just realized I didn't even introduce myself. So we'll go backwards a little bit. My name is Amy Perwin. As you heard, I have done some volunteer work with Equality Florida. Locally, I work with Naples Pride and GLSEN and Interfaith Alliance. And I think this has just been an amazing, wonderful experience today. And we invite you to contribute by placing your gift for Equality Florida in one of the baskets held by the ushers on your way out of the sanctuary at the end of the service. And if you have any questions about Equality Florida, I will do my best to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Grateful for your gifts in advance to Equality Florida. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and thanksgiving. Spirit of life and love, God of our deepest understanding, here we have come, grateful for our differences, joyful in our unity, choosing to journey together, a diverse group of interdependent spirits. We have come and shared our lives, our hopes, our music. For each and all we give thanks, for the willingness to be open, and for the openness to listen and to care. We have come to make promises to one another, to stay together in the days and weeks and months to come, to continue to share deeply, living our love as best we can, committing to the work ahead, getting to know each other, taking risks, singing and laughing together, struggling, making mistakes, apologizing and forgiving with humility and grace, paying greater attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, blessing each other on the journey, holding each other in difficult times, rejoicing together when there is cause for celebration, learning to love ourselves as we learn to love one another. Here we have come, grateful for our differences, joyful in our unity, choosing to journey forward, loving one another. Amen.
A better place. Children will learn, and their future will be love. Love, only love, with all your heart. Love, with all your soul. Listen to the wisdom inside and around you. You will remember in your home and on your way. Your life a voice of God. Be a sculptor for the holy. Be a doorway for love. Love, only love, with
I'll now offer the reading The Greatest Power by Jonathan McClellan. The greatest gift God ever gave humankind was love in its many expressions, and the capacity to give and receive love is the richest fulfillment for us. We may not always have felt this way, for many of us were miseducated into believing that our love was shameful. Yet despite this, the human spirit's capacity to love is more resilient than its capacity to hate. Through our love, we have and are continuing to overcome hate. Considering that love is the greatest commandment God ever gave us, as we move forward, our path is clear. We must love. To put it another way, we must be ourselves. Love, whether queer or not, is the most powerful force known to humankind, for God is love. Our identities are not a weakness, but are our biggest strength. And no matter how much we face hatred and bigotry every day, we are still here and unmovable. We will not compromise or give up our greatest gift, because it was God who made us how we are. A gift from God is too precious to discard. Rather, it is worthy of protection. These hearts of ours that have learned how to love are worthy of protecting, for love is and has always been worth fighting for. At times, the way forward seems shrouded in many unknowns, but if love is the way, the truth, and the life, then love is our compass. We need only be true to ourselves to overcome this pride. Embrace the spirit of gratitude and gladness. We have much to be thankful for, the foremost being the ways in which the LGBTQ community gives and receives love. I now invite you to join me in the unison prayer which is printed in your bulletins. Let us pray together. Loving God, bless you for the power to overcome all obstacles. Let us love boldly and bravely, and may we all feel the pride of being your creation. Help those who feel lost and alone. Remind us that you are here with us, creating rainbows to light our paths with love. Amen.
You have heard the good news. We are all beloved. Let us love one another.
May all beings be happy and know the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. And may all beings realize the equality and interconnectedness of all things.
May the love that resides in you inspire you to go out and love greatly.
Ruach HaShalom, Spirit of peace and holiness, open our eyes to the gifts and blessings we offer and receive from each other. Open our hearts to welcome each other fully and truly. Open our hands to embrace, to support, to lift each other. Begilah, berina, b'shalom, uvareut, with joy, with song, with peace, and with deep friendship.
1 John 4:12, no one has ever seen God, but when we love one another, God lives in us, and God's love is perfected in us.
May you know that you are a beloved child of God. You are created in God's image. And I pray that you go from this place in peace.
May we depart here with the message of Elie Wiesel, understanding that tolerance is not the answer to hate, for it is not enough to tolerate others, but rather to respect one another, to approach each other with true intellectual curiosity, to learn what it is that makes each and every one of us unique, special, and created in the divine image, that we might find blessings in each other.
Just as sunshine breaks through clouds, the compassionate light of our essential nature shines through the cracks in our delusion.
May we leave this sacred space fed and nourished, hearts softened, ears open, mouths quick to defend all your children, and hands ready to put in the work to better the world.
I'd like to leave you with the words that were offered by the priests in antiquity and throughout history. Yevarecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, ve'yasem lecha shalom.
Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. And please join us for a reception after the service out front.